at the end of the day, in a large part, I am an atheist because you religious folk cause so much bloodshed, so much. Look at 9/11. This is on your own turf here. Look at the religious wars of history. Religion is for the weak-minded, those who are evil, and also those who have some sort of intellectual deficiency in their brains. Just like my comrade Richard Dawkins argued, you people are intellectually deficient. I don't mean that in a pejorative way, I just mean it in an accurate way.
Okay. So my question to you is, do you believe that religion is the cause of all wars?
Well, most of the wars throughout history.
But you're willing to grant that not all wars are caused by religion?
Say that again.
You're willing to grant that not all war is caused by religion?
Yeah, but most.
Okay. So do you know of, let's say, I'm thinking of certain leaders, do you know of Mao Zedong?
Yes, of course.
Okay, was he a religious person?
From what I recall, no, he wasn't. But, I think he considered himself God. So he was.
But he wasn't religious in any.
Yeah, I think he didn't believe.
Okay, so his regime was atheistic, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how many people died under his regime?
I'm sure there was quite a few.
Yeah, something like 30 to 60 million.
That's quite a few, yes.
Okay, and this was an atheistic regime. How about Stalin, Lenin?
Russian leaders, yes.
Okay. Do you know how many people died under their regimes?
I would guess something like a lot.
About 66 million. And was their regime religious?
No, they weren't.
No, it wasn't. Okay. And lastly, have you heard of this Vietnamese person named Pol Pot?
Mm-hmm. The Khmer Rouge, yes.
Okay, so he killed over a third of his whole population in Vietnam. And so my question to you again is, was his regime religious?
No.
Okay. So we have over 100 million people dying in the 20th century by regimes that were not religious.
Yes, but what about the Spanish Inquisition? What about the Muslim wars that have gone on for
So,
years?
so what about those? How many people have died in all those religious wars? What do you think?
Maybe 101 million, that'll do.
Less than 1 million.
Really?
Combined.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure about that.
Well, regardless of the fact, I mean, you still have religion causing these wars.
So, well, my point is that atheistic regimes have killed far more people than religious ones. And that's why they call...
Well, these were evil men.
But they were atheistic evil men.
That happens to be true, but my point is that religion, supposedly producing good in this world, is actually producing evil. Perhaps atheistic leaders I can understand because they have their own agenda, their corrupt for other reasons. But it's a very hypocritical thing for religions.
Okay. So do you think that religious people do no good? So for example, let's just say Christians. Do you not see any good that Christians have ever done?
There are some.
Okay.
Sure.
So there's some, and I would agree with you that true, there are certain religious travesties, but at least there's some good that they do, right?
There are some.
Okay. And there's definitely more evil that atheists have done, just considering the number of deaths, right?
Okay, I'll grant you that.
Okay. So why wouldn't you oppose atheism? If atheism causes more deaths...
Well, because atheism never says that we're here to do good. We're just neutral for the most part. Religions do claim to do good, and yet they do evil.
Well, they sometimes do good, right?
Yeah.
And all that proves is that people are imperfect, right? And I'd agree with you that a lot of Christians, a lot of religious people are hypocritical, but that doesn't prove the religion wrong, right? Let me give you an example. Let's say that in 3rd grade, I had a math teacher that taught me 1 + 1 = 2. And let's say later on I found out that she was a child molester. Does that mean that the truth that she taught me is false?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. So, as far as you know, that there could be a hypocrite after hypocrite Christian, but that doesn't prove Christianity is false, right? It just proves they're terrible followers of Christ.
Perhaps.